Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. All right. Mic check 1, 2. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4. And test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. What do we got here? What's up, cow dog? It might dry out enough today. All right, welcome on anybody watching YouTube live here. It's 9 minutes away from start time here, about 9 minutes is what we're looking at. And we'll take it from there. All right, once I see a couple people online here. All right, mic check 1, 2, audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know and double check the audio. Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2. Let me know how it sounds if I have to restart and reboot this thing. Yeah. Yes. It should be ready to rock and roll here. We got 3 different guests on today's program. And we'll take it from there. That one's good. That one's good. All good to go. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know how the audio sounds. If the audio is coming through clear for Mobridge and Pier, let me know here as soon as you can. Throw me a chat in the chat box or send me a text message as well. Either way. No, not ready for you yet. Just settle down. All right, just check 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know how it sounds so we can get going here in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes to start time. Guard your privacy and abide by your community guidelines. Just remember that too. Chat box. Oh, what happened there? Mosquito bites. Gotta love them. Text. I made it back barely.
Get him up.
That's good stuff right there. I ain't kidding you. That's good stuff. All right, I'm going to be calling in my guest here. We're going to be starting here in about 5 minutes or so. Let me know how the audio sounds, please, so I know everything's hooked up correctly on your guys' end. All right, thank you. Mike's going to be going quiet here for a second. All right, mic test. Sorry, Chuck here. I had my microphone turned off. So if you're listening now, let me know if you have audio in Pierre, South Dakota. There you go. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. But yeah. So anyway, that's how things go here. I'm going to put you through the line here. I'm going to put you on, and you'll hear audio from me, and then you'll hear when we start and go like that. Okay, is that all right? All right, thanks. Stand by. Sorry about that, Chuck. Making some phone calls and just getting things lined out, ready to go here. Cow dog, what you got going on down there? Huh? Should put a webcam on my cow dog. See what he does in a day. All right, audio levels are checked in. We're ready to rock and roll here, starting in about 60 seconds. 60 seconds, everybody. Good show. Hope everybody Independence Day was good. I hope you don't call it the 4th of July. I hope you call it Independence Day. If you call it the 4th, you better call this Happy 6th of July then, too. Cow dog agrees down here at my feet. All right, here. Let's see. 30 seconds. Stand by. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, live on KFYR to Bismarck, KOLY in Mobridge, South Dakota, KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, and everybody watching here on YouTube right now is we're YouTube Live. Go to Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio and subscribe to my channel. I just sure appreciate that as we try to get more information about the outdoor industry and agricultural industry out and about all across the areas that way here. We have a great show coming up here. We have we're going to be talking with the Dickinson Indoor Ranges here. We got a new range coming up in the Dickinson, North Dakota area. And after the next break, we're going to be talking to Andy Murdoch and John Andrus. They're in Montana, prairie dog shooting, fishing, fly fishing, and doing that whole works. We'll talk about that, see what that fishing and the shooting's doing in Montana, and then also to update on some land values. That's after the quarter after break. And then we're going to talk to the only guy I known to ever get completely kicked off of Facebook. And he was out coon hunting all night last night. Yeah, we'll talk to Marty Beard. He's going to be my first July guest coming up here today. First off, let's talk a little bit about the Dickinson Indoor Ranges. Good morning, Mr. Edward Dick. How are you, sir, this morning?
Very well. Very excited.
Oh, man, I tell you what. You know what's exciting is to be able to have the opportunity for people to go into an indoor range and do shooting in a safe environment. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you started up in the Dickinson, North Dakota area and why you decided to do this.
Well, I am a retired firefighter, and working in South California, I work on a lot of victims. And knowing that people that have a chance to defend themselves makes the bad guy think twice about who he's going to mess with. And being here in the oil field, working for, up here and not being able to shoot when it's too cold, and, you shoot about 3 rounds and you want to put your gloves back on and go back in the car and go home. But knowing that and knowing how training is a must. If you're going to carry a weapon, you need to be trained.
Right. That's one of the hardest things to get through a lot of people's, I guess, some of us stubborn minds. is, you got to put in a little bit of training involved in this, and indoor ranges is a great way to do that. So where is it sitting right now? What are you going to be building this range? I know you had a meeting with the city and the whole works like that. How did it go?
Well, it was very tense, but the commissioners absolutely wanted as much information to make a decision about voting for the range.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be built 2 miles west of Menards. I'm buying 5 acres,
Okay.
and it's going to be from the ground up. So anybody that wants to have input on what they want in a range, they can go on the website, Dickinson Indoor Ranges at Reagan.com, and put their 2 cents in. But it's going to be built from the ground up, from hunter safety, proficiency with all firearms and archery, and we're going to be having a tactical part of that. So
Mm-hmm.
if police, different agencies want to use it, they'll be able to come in and shoot. And then we'll also have the ability for different clubs and different organizations to come in and shoot tactical, moving around inside the range.
Yeah.
So it won't just be in a booth shooting. It'll have the competition part of it also. So that's all those things are going to demand a lot of technology to put it in place.
Now, when you design an indoor ranges like you do, what type of safety precautions are you doing for? When you're doing tactical, you're shooting all different directions. You're doing different scenarios, whether you're shooting in a booth or archery or what you do. What type of safety precautions are you doing and installing in this indoor range? And how big is this building going to be? It's got to be a pretty good size.
Well, the pistol part will be 100 feet long, and that'll give the tactical part of people 75 feet to move around in. A clear span, 40 to 50 feet wide, and 100 feet plus the bullet catcher will be there. And then I've had a lot of people that want to shoot their big things, BMGs, and so we're going to put a below grade 100 yards for 50 caliber and down, or up to 50.
Sure.
So it's the sound is not going to be there because it's going to be 3 feet below grade, below the ground. And for the pistol, the Army Corps of Engineers has designed some major safety things. So no bullet can get outside. We'll have, as far as I know, we're going to have a poured in place concrete walls, I think 12 inches thick.
Okay.
And the ceiling will have ballistic steel covered with soundproofing rubber about 2.5 inches thick. And so it's going to be very, very user friendly to where, yes, you will wear earplugs as always, and you will always wear safety goggles or glasses,
Absolutely.
ballistic glasses.
Right.
That's a minimum. It's called eyes and ears. You walk in and say, the first question is, you have eyes and ears, and what kind of a person you want as your backup? Because we'll have a safety officer online at all times. And when you come in, you'll have someone to check you in to make sure you're not carrying laser rounds that explode or rounds that are traits. Don't want to catch a place on fire.
Right.
So, and if you're carrying a weapon, if you're legal to carry in North Dakota, if you're a legal citizen in North Dakota, you can carry a concealed weapon. Okay, that one stays in concealed like it's supposed to be. And if you're going to take your weapon out of the car, which is one of the biggest concerns of neighbors, they don't want an accidental discharge when you're taking your weapon out of your car before you get inside the range. So I would say have your weapons unloaded if you're going to be, pulling them out and waving them around, as one of the person said, waving a gun around. Well, everyone I know that carries a weapon, there's so much respect for it and that's where I come from. You have to respect a weapon that can take a life. And
absolutely,
all guns are always loaded. period.
So if people want more information, maybe they even, this is going, we're talking 6 states, a couple Canadian provinces, and worldwide here on YouTube. If people say, you know what, this is something I'd like to donate some money to, where would they get in contact with you?
You can go on the Dickinson Indoor Ranges at Reagan.com, and our bank is the Cornerstone Bank on the west side of town.
Sure.
And you can go in, and any monies that comes in before opening day, we're going to use 90% of that will be in escrow until opening day.
Okay.
And, if it's membership, that kind of thing. But yes, I would love to have some extra things to, for flowers and landscaping to put in.
Right.
But there's a federal loan that the president just signed, HR 1222, and that money's from what I understand, 90% will be paid to help build the range. So that's going to make it a lot bigger and nicer than I expected to do with just what as I had. But
well, I tell you what, we're up against the break here. It's Dickinson Indoor Ranges. Appreciate you coming on here. Stay on the phone here. I'll talk to you during the break here a little bit. For those of us on YouTube and all the radio stations, we'll be back after this short break.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust is happy to serve the communities we are in. Whether it's sponsoring a local team or rodeo, helping take tickets, or having a good neighbor club loyalty event, we are thankful for the great communities we live in. Without the community, we are just a bank. Please visit us at any of our 11 locations to learn more about us. We're in Bismarck, Bowman, Dickinson, Glen Ullin, Hebron, Taylor, Lincoln, Mandan, and New Leipzig. Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
We want amazing innovations to drive progress for generations. We want jobs and careers for generations. We want American energy production that protects our land and the wildlife for generations. Today, the advanced technologies deployed by the North Dakota oil and gas producers are making that happen. And with the promise of emerging technologies, the energy of North Dakota has a very bright future for generations to come. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. To learn more, visit energyofnorthdakota.com.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame now open 7 days a week in historic Medora. Plan to come spend some time with us and absorb all that is new for 2019. We have a new digital display as well as stunning photography and more in the Hall of Honorees, new displays throughout the museum, and more. Follow the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame on Facebook and learn more about us at NorthDakotaCowboy.com. And consider becoming a member today at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Come ride with us into the future, proudly honoring and preserving our past.
Mandan Sporting Goods, 210 East Main. Again, sitting with Joe, talking about deer hunting coming around the corner. When it comes to the deer list, you don't think about your wife's deer list. It's deer hunting, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. She doesn't make very good venison.
Let's talk about the rifles for deer season here. You got plenty of them to choose from, but name like some of the top 3 that people are coming in and they're just flying off the shelf.
Well, I would say the Marlins, Ruger Americans, of course, the Remingtons, of course. Savage is a super gun out of the box. They're as good as any of them as far as accuracy right out of the box.
What are some of the special things that coming around deer season, like optics, ammunition, people are looking at? I know rangefinders are kind of big, and you guys carry a full line of optics as well.
Rangefinders is quite a thing. I mean, you got your cheaper ones, you get your higher ones. If you're going to buy one, you may as well buy a good one that'll get out there.
Mandan Sporting Goods, it's 210 East Main. Stop by. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton. Check. Every hour, hundreds upon thousands of prairie dogs are being shot, flying in the air all alone, waiting for someone to help. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. Please say that you'll be the answer to an innocent prairie dog who is being aimed at. An animal that needs your help right now. Please consider a monthly gift and adopt a prairie dog. For just $20 a month, I personally will rescue a prairie dog from the sights of a rifle with medical care, food, shelter, and love. Send your donation today
and I'll send you a picture of your adopted sod puppy. This is your chance to say, I won't sit by while a prairie dog can be adopted for such a small monthly donation. Hi, everybody. This is Scott Bachmeyer, and besides being the host of Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio and also a rancher in the Badlands, I'm also an auctioneer. So if you're looking to auction off property, maybe you have farm equipment, a production sale coming up, even a benefit or a fundraiser, I'm the guy that can help you out. Maybe you're listening and you have your own auction company and you find yourself short of help sometimes. I can step up as an auctioneer or even help as a ringman. Give me a call, send me a message, 701-425-6651. That's 701-425-6651. Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition here this morning. Live on KFYR to Bismarck, North Dakota. In South Dakota, KOLY out of Mobridge and KGFX and Pierre. Also worldwide on YouTube. Live right now. Go to Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio is my channel. Good to have you along here this morning. As we get going here and we move into our next segment here, we want to welcome to the on the show here, Mr. Andy Murdoch and John Andrus out in Montana. Where in Montana are you guys at?
Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. We're in south central Montana, south of Big Timber. We're about 15 feet off the Boulder River right now.
All right. So the question is, how's the fishing?
You know, it's been pretty good.
Has it?
It's been pretty. River's been a little high. We've had a tremendous amount of moisture. Pretty cool spring, like you guys have, and we're still in our high water levels, where most of the time where river kind of be getting settled back down and really good for fishing. So
what kind of, you doing fly fishing out there, I'm guessing, right?
We are.
Okay.
We're doing some fly fishing out here, and I've had Andy set up, and actually I got him on some fish in some tougher conditions. It's been pretty cool.
Okay, so I have had a couple of questions when I started the show on my YouTube channel. I got a couple of comments saying, you should, get some fly fishing tips out there. And it's hard to find people around this area where I'm at that fly fish because, we don't do that around our area. So give us some tips. What are you looking at? What do you need when you're starting out fly fishing?
Well, Scott, what I found out yesterday is you need to be a little taller if the river's higher. Make sure that the waders, are tall enough to walk in the area that you walk in. That's tip number one.
Yeah. And what are you getting it down here? Are you getting that whole casting situation? I don't know. Fly fishing is a little bit different casting.
It's substantially different. I'm not a big fisherman anyway, but the technique, it'll take a full day or 2 days with really good training actually to get the casting itself down, whether you're throwing a nymph line or doing a roll cast on it. It's way more active. You got to be on top of it, and the river's moving pretty fast, so you always kind of have to keep an eye on your line. That's about the main thing that we found here, this week.
So are you guys catching stuff? And I haven't seen any photos, no updates, no nothing here. Come on.
There's no cell service here. So
perfect.
As far as posting anything, it's been extremely hard. But we've got quite a few.
Good.
Some rainbows, some browns. Those are mainly the ones we've got into. Where we're at up here today, and have been for the past little bit, we have the opportunity we could get in some Arctic grayling or some cutthroat. But basically what we've been catching are rainbows and browns.
Okay. So, Andy, what does it take as a non-resident to go out and fish in Montana? What does it take?
I just went to the local fly shop here in Big Timber and got some equipment and walked up to the counter and got a fishing license for JC and I. That was it. $75 for 5 days, I believe.
Okay, so it's reasonable. It's a lot of fun, and you're surrounded. You said it's one of the best views that you've seen in a long time is where you're sitting right now.
This is gorgeous country, and you can really see why the land market, specifically south of Big Timber and anywhere south of the Crazies, is getting pretty hot. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. We just got off of the Great Plains Land Expo over in Fargo. I appreciate you guys inviting me out and being part of that. It's kind of everybody that we talked to was discussing the commodities right now, and everything goes off of the commodities, and they don't look as great and rosy as it is. But no matter who you talk to, they said what you want to invest in is land. No matter what you want to do, even the ex-Viking football player said the same thing. That first thing he did when he got drafted is they told him he needs to start investing his money, and they recommended land. Is that going to hold true here as we look into the future?
Without a question, Scott, as far as looking at just historic investment, strategies, investment opportunities for anybody, obviously one of the long-term safe investments is real estate. And going back to the commodities and the way everybody's looking at things right now, especially, looking here in Montana and then over into North Dakota, it's probably one of the most optimal growing seasons that we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
We're around the 4th of July weekend still getting rain. And as you know, in Slope and Bowman County, that doesn't happen every year.
And I got hailed out. I got hailed on in Deadwood, between Deadwood and Spearfish yesterday in my pickup.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And that's probably one of the biggest fears that we've got going into into late July and August, obviously. But the commodities that we're really watching, and probably the one that's going to affect land values the most, obviously soybeans and corn. A lot of things up in the air still regarding the trade and what's going on here that we'll probably find out here closer to harvest season. But here on July 11th, we'll come out with the USDA report as far as the acres planted of corn, and I believe they were using 9.2 million acres as their base, which is going to throw the supply of corn down.
Right.
But it's kind of the speculation right now that they're going to come up closer to 8 or 8.1 million. And if that's the case, I think we're going to see a substantial boost in the corn market. And the reason I think that that's going to probably be the case is we've seen kind of a boost in the corn price here in the last 3 or 4 days. Actually, it's went from about $4.10 to $4.39. I think it closed yesterday. So there's a lot of speculation that report's going to come a little lower. And if that's the case, I think we're going to continue to see strong land prices here this fall.
Yeah. One of the things that you started up here, and I'm trying to help you out, I know John's helping as well, here is a little online report here that you can find on your YouTube channel. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, we just started a market report. It's called Farm USA Market Report. It virtually covers the land market, and not specifically North Dakota or South Dakota, but we want to start discussing with other brokers and other commodity experts. And our first episode the other day was with Dr. Bruce Sherrick right after the Great Plains Land Expo. Tremendous insight on what the overall U.S. economy is doing as far as agriculture is concerned. We're very fortunate to have a guest like that on our first episode. You can check it out on YouTube at Farm USA, and there's a lot of good episodes coming up.
Yeah. And we had the opportunity to sit down and talk to, the top people in their field. And that's one of the things that what I took away from it, Andy, is they're telling you not to stress out right now. Everybody's stressing out. And one of the, there's like, it's not that bad right now. Do you see that, or are people still kind of freaking out about the commodity prices right now?
Well, I mean, obviously we're in kind of a volatile time. The problem was we run into 2 or 3 years of continual high expenses, high inputs, and low commodity prices. The thing that saved a lot of guys was the high returns, the high yields that we saw here in the last couple of years, and that's what kept the optimism in the market, especially in North Dakota. You get into states like Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota and northern Iowa, where they're really affected by the dairy prices. In North Dakota, we don't see a lot of that, but South Dakota's has seen some of that. But in North Dakota, we've really had the ability to stay pretty optimistic and continuing to have good yields, which is carrying the majority of the producers through the time. But as you talk to everybody, and specifically at the Great Plains Land Expo, they were really optimistic as to where the commodity prices are headed, and all the new technology that's out there as far as increasing yields on the acres being produced. So, there's a lot of optimism going into the future, and specifically into this fall.
Are you, we have about 60 seconds here just to let you know that, but what are you seeing? Is the optimism still there in equipment auctions as well? I mean, are people still looking at buying good used equipment?
We had a tremendous spring, and really the main boost, and the way I feel the main boost is for the equipment side of the industry, is managing your depreciation. Utilizing good quality, high quality used farm equipment to get the job done rather than going buying brand new. Getting your cost per hour down into the $20 and $30 and $40 dollar per hour to run a piece of equipment rather than $300 or $400 an hour to run a piece of equipment, and that's what's really kept the value of good, well maintained used equipment up.
Well, it looks like there's plenty of great auctions coming up. We'll discuss that probably here in the next few weeks. And we'll see you guys, probably both of you, in July 18th here in Steele.
That's correct.
All right. Well, hey, you guys, not only do I want to see pictures of prairie dogs flying in Montana, I want to see you guys do the bottle cap challenge too.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
You bet. Thanks a lot. Andy Murdoch, John Andrews here. We're reporting live from Montana. More coming up on the second half of the show. Dakota Prairie Outdoors next.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust is happy to serve the communities we are in. Whether it's sponsoring a local team or rodeo, helping take tickets, or having a good neighbor club loyalty event, we are thankful for the great communities we live in. Without the community, we are just a bank. Please visit us at any of our 11 locations to learn more about us. We're in Bismarck, Bowman, Dickinson, Glen Ullin, Hebron, Taylor, Lincoln, Mandan, and New Leipzig. Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
We want amazing innovations to drive progress for generations. We want jobs and careers for generations. We want American energy production that protects our land and the wildlife for generations. Today, the advanced technologies deployed by the North Dakota oil and gas producers are making that happen. And with the promise of emerging technologies, the energy of North Dakota has a very bright future for generations to come. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. To learn more, visit energyofnorthdakota.com.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, now open 7 days a week in historic Medora. Plan to come spend some time with us and absorb all that is new for 2019. We have a new digital display as well as stunning photography and more in the Hall of Honorees, new displays throughout the museum, and more. Follow the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame on Facebook and learn more about us at NorthDakotaCowboy.com. And consider becoming a member today at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Come ride with us into the future, proudly honoring and preserving our past.
Mandan Sporting Goods, 210 East Main. Again, sitting with Joe, talking about deer hunting coming around the corner. When it comes to the deer list, you don't think about your wife's deer list. It's deer hunting, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. She doesn't make very good venison.
Let's talk about the rifles for deer season here. You got plenty of them to choose from, but name like some of the top three that people are coming in and they're just flying off the shelf.
Well, I would say the Marlins, Ruger Americans, of course, the Remingtons, of course. Savage is a super gun out of the box. They're as good as any of them as far as accuracy right out of the box.
What are some of the special things that coming around deer season, like optics, ammunition people are looking at? I know rangefinders are kind of big, and you guys carry a full line of optics as well.
Rangefinders is quite a thing. I mean, you got your cheaper ones, you get your higher ones. If you're going to buy one, you may as well buy a good one that'll get out there.
Mandan Sporting Goods, it's 210 East Main. Stop by. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton. Every hour, hundreds upon thousands of prairie dogs are being shot, flying in the air all alone, waiting for someone to help. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. Please say that you'll be the answer to an innocent prairie dog who is being aimed at. An animal that needs your help right now. Please consider a monthly gift and adopt a prairie dog. For just $20 a month, I personally will rescue a prairie dog from the sights of a rifle with medical care, food, shelter, and love.
Send your donation today, and I'll send you a picture of your adopted sod puppy. This is your chance to say, I won't sit by while a prairie dog can be adopted for such a small monthly donation.
In the arms of the angel.
Hi, everybody. This is Scott Bachmeyer, and besides being the host of Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio and also a rancher in the Badlands, I'm also an auctioneer. So if you're looking to auction off property, maybe you have farm equipment, a production sale coming up, even a benefit or a fundraiser, I'm the guy that can help you out. Maybe you're listening and you have your own auction company and you find yourself short of help sometimes. I can step up as an auctioneer or even help as a ringman. Give me a call, send me a message, 701-425-6651. That's 701-425-6651. Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition here on a beautiful Saturday morning in the Badlands of North Dakota. Good to have you along here this morning. The second half of the program is brought to you by The Rock Block. That's right. Go to therockblock.net. You know what it is? It's a shield on the front of my disc vine that keeps rocks from blowing out my back windows on my tractor and my side windows on my tractor, and it works phenomenal. It's cheap. I ran across this guy. It's locally made out of Bristol, South Dakota. All right. So it's a local guy here in the Dakota Territory. And not only that, it's simple. It's simple to install. It's simple to use. And I'll tell you, it is saved. I got just about 200 acres of hay down and put up now. I didn't blow a window out yet. That's awesome here. So there you go. Therockblock.net, and go check him out. Tell him Scott sent you over that way. Hey, I want to welcome my second guest, the only guy that I know that has ever been banned for life off of Facebook, Mr. Marty Beard. How are you doing this morning? Good morning.
Well, I tell you what, I am doing good, and I love YouTube. And when I found your channel, let me tell you what, I am really impressed. But do not put your YouTube channel on, Dakota Prairie Outdoors and KFYR Radio, because there's like listening in this phone. There's like a three-way. Yeah, it's confusing, but you know, hey, if anybody could keep that out, keep that straight, they're doing pretty good. But thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. I have something that I got to play here for you. See, somebody sent me this video this morning. I don't know if you recognize those barks or not. I mean, can you name those 5 dogs?
Yep, that's Mary, Pip, Holly, JJ, and Huck.
And I'm going to assume you're right, because I don't know. That's the video you sent me. You were out coon hunting last night.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've had a wonderful spring. I started hunting on my boat. You know, the river is up, you know, whatever kind of program the Corps of Engineers have for controlling this river. I don't know where. Maybe they talk to maybe a kindergartner to get their information on how to control the river. I don't know. But my other theory is that they wait until the walleye fishermen are doing really well on the Missouri. And as soon as they hear about those walleye catches and stuff like that, then they raise the river and wreck it. That's what I think the actual Corps of Engineers plan is.
Okay. 2011, big flood, right? Remember that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was still, when I brought back the What's on Your Mind program, one of the first people I interviewed was the lady that was in charge of the Army Corps of Engineers out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, is where she was stationed at. And I had her on a radio program, and we were discussing why the river levels and why they didn't anticipate the runoff and the snow melt in Montana when everybody in the world knew this was coming, but they were worried about their master plan or their master manual that they go by that was written back in the 50s, I'm guessing. And after that interview, She was nowhere to be found by newspapers, by radio, by any kind of social media. She was, you just
Gone.
couldn't get out. Yeah, she was gone. And I'm going to take credit for that, Marty, because I was the only person that silenced the Army Corps of Engineer head dude or lady at that point. And there was actually newspapers out of Sioux Falls. I think it was the Argus Leader. They did an article, said that some guy in a radio station in North Dakota interviewed her. Now they blamed that guy because nobody can get any interviews with her anymore. So I was pretty proud of that from the Argus Leader out of Sioux Falls.
Hey, that is a feather in your hat. I tell you what, that's the problem. People don't confront enough of these government agencies and government people and just ask them why. What's going on here? We just accept status quo, and I think that's wrong. Just what they're doing right now with this river bottoms. Actually, for me right now, I have to admit, for my own selfish reasons, I like this river high right now because it's so fun. I can take my little boat. I have a 14-foot boat, and I cruise around there, and I hunt coon and shoot carp, and it's actually like I'm down south. But when you see what the devastation that it's causing, I mean, how they think this is good for the river when it's killing these trees. I have pictures of that river bottoms when my ancestors farmed it.
Really?
And there's, yep, right. If you're going south of Bismarck, and you get to those Twin Buttes past Mary College, right down in the woods, there's a swath of my great uncle and my great great uncle's homesteaded land down in that river bottoms. So I have pictures of what it was like before the flood, and now it's just dead trees everywhere, cockleburs, leafy spurge, wormwood. I mean, it and they call it management land. I mean, hey, we're going to talk about coon hunting.
Yeah.
So I go along and I turn these dogs loose, and now you have to get up here and hunt this river with me. Now, I've hunted coon for close to 35 years now, and I've got probably the best pack of hounds that I've ever had. I'm not claiming they're the best anywhere else, but I'll tell you what, they're all sisters.
Nice.
I bred a real good old female, old June, to a male who was killed by a mountain lion. I'll tell you what, and hit their pups. And I got 2 litters, and I've got 3 out of the first one, 2 out of the second, and the rest all went to bear hunters and cat hunters. Mm-hmm. And they're just doing great. But you turn those dogs loose, and then you know what you get to do? You just get to float along and listen to the race and watch the race as it's progressing. I've hunted on mules and everything else, but I love hunting on boat. And when you get to Bismarck, we are going.
So what is the draw for coon hunting at this point? Because, coyote season, I understand that. We wait until about October, late October, so the pelts are worth something. When it comes to coon hunting, I guess, I've shot them. I've never really went out and actually hunted them, though. What are you looking for when you're going after these raccoons?
Well, it's all about the dogs, and I tell you what, I used to love deer hunting. I've been out elk hunting in Montana probably 30 years ago, and I gave all that up. I shouldn't say I gave it up. I just don't do it anymore because I just enjoy those hounds, and I chase cats pretty much all winter, or try to, as much as my dang leg can handle. Mm-hmm. And I just love the dogs. I mean, I'm out there every day with them, even when I don't go hunting. And right now, like, I talk about coon hunting all summer, and people are like, well, how many of those coon do you kill every year? Well, if I killed every coon I treated, there wouldn't be any left around Bismarck or Mandan.
So it's more of a chase and work your dogs type of thing for you, isn't it? More of a sport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. Hearing those dogs and hearing them progress. In fact, once I get dogs to a certain point, to be honest with you, they're just like almost like machines. It gets boring for me. I got to have a new dog, a new pup, something new to add in there to, it's just a constant. I don't know. It's just a new adventure every time.
Yeah. So what's the rules and regulations on the North Dakota side? I mean, we're broadcast in South Dakota too, and I don't know if you know the rules down there as well, but what does it I mean, you can hunt them at night. You can chase them at night. What can you use for lights? What's legal? What's not legal?
Well, North Dakota is a little bit backwards on as far as lights. Most every other state, you can use basically whatever light you want. There they have a lot more. Of course, there's a lot more coon hunters.
Sure.
And we used to be able to just use a 4-cell flashlight. Now that's one of them little hand holding that had, if you went by their definition, it was 4 batteries in there, 4 cells with aggregate of 4 volts. Now it moved up to 6 volts. Probably about 10 years ago, they moved it to 6 volts, which is still way behind. And the Game and Fish has said that, they don't want to, they're worried about people shining deer and saying they're coon hunting. Let me tell you, if people are out poaching deer, they're going to poach deer no matter what anyway.
Right.
And, in North Dakota, I think it's a safety deal and I've been to many places where I can see a raccoon and I'm on let's say the Heart River, and you're real familiar with that.
Yeah.
And you're looking up and you think you see a raccoon and your light's not quite enough bright. And on that big bank, what if a cow is looking over that bank because they hear dogs and you mistake that? And that's my thing. It's a safety deal. It's not a poaching deal. You're not going to stop poaching. But when you have let's say a 20-volt light compared to a 6-volt light, you're going to be able to identify that animal.
Right.
To me, it's a safety issue.
Yeah. I mean, if they'd allow bigger, brighter lights, you would be able to identify that animal a lot easier, I would think. But I don't know if common sense has kind of gone out the window, hasn't it?
I think it has. And we'll take this to the coyote hunting. As far as lights, look at how many states you can shine, you can hunt predators at night, and it's real successful. And now we're going to be having, I think it's the same light here. Well, what if you're hunting around someplace and you know what a border collie looks like?
I got one. I got one sleeping right by my feet right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you see that with a dim light and you're out coyote hunting, let's say your border collie hears some squealing and squawking and somebody's hunting close and that border collie comes out, are you going to be able to tell exactly what that is with a dim light with a green or red or amber cover over it? I don't think so.
I'll take one thing though. The Game and Fish did open it up for coyote hunting. It used to be from the end of deer season to March 15th, and now they're allowing it pretty much year round, except during rifle season for deer. So that's a good, I think it's a good step forward.
It is.
I personally feel that there's other organizations influencing their decisions on a lot of things, though. Not necessarily it's their way of thinking. It might be influenced by something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping up on Arizona's coyote hunt?
Oh, the last time I got an email from something, and they were trying to ban all coyote hunting on state lands in Arizona.
They're.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's gone even crazier than that.
Okay.
The Arizona Game and Fish commissioners have voted 4-0 to ban coyote hunts, like we have in North Dakota.
Coyote tournaments.
They're
sure,
big in Arizona.
That's right. Yeah.
And their reason was it's because of public pressure. So here we have, and I give our North Dakota Game and Fish credit. I don't think they bend near as much as these other ones.
Right.
I think they're pretty strong on that. Sure, we can critique and we can do this, but I give them credit there. But this here is just unbelievable that these people are having such sway with 4 commissioners. I mean, there's not even one that says, that is a very important tool for ranchers. I'm not even going to involve anybody else, like deer hunters, how much fawn mortality, elk calf mortality in this state, on and on and on. And you have a predator like a coyote. Now you take away a tool, and that's what it is. It's just another way to control the coyote population in Arizona. What's that going to do to the mule deer?
Yeah. Well, and it's been proven, look at what they did in Montana, not allowing any wolf hunting for so many years. And, and then they're pretty proud of how high the wolf population has become. And you look at the elk population has gone way down. You talk to, I got a buddy that ranches out in Great Falls, Montana, and he does some guiding for elk on his ranch and the whole works. He had to shut that business down because there's no elk left. He said, I don't know. I think if you follow the money, Marty, is where if you got people like the Defenders of Wildlife that are huge into keeping prairie dogs and wolves and coyotes and all this, if you follow their money, I'm betting it goes back to like these commissioners in Arizona. I bet they get a pretty good fee coming in there, or they get some type of a kickback out of somewhere somehow. That I don't know. I always say follow the money. You'll see why things are happening.
Yeah, well, either that. I mean, people do things for money, that's for sure, or that has been ingrained in so many wildlife biologists and everything from biology and let's just say veterinarians, just the whole gamut. There's so many scholarships by HSUS and by these people. They are choosing who our next wildlife biologists are going to be. And you can very well bet they're not going to be for the benefit of hunters when HSUS is giving scholarships away.
Yeah. Yeah. So I might get in trouble for this, but I really don't care. I'm going to tell you a little story about something I read on social media. I know you're banned on Facebook, so I don't know if you get on there very much, but I'm going to try to make this as vague as I can. But there is a post from a local NRCS office around the South Dakota area. And this post was coming from a lady that says, I moved up here. I'm helping out the local NRCS, whatever. And I work for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work for this and this and this. And if you want me to come out on your ranch and assess how we can help improve your habitat and your growth of your native grasses, and they were located, and they had a scholarship that they gave this lady to work in that local NRCS office. And I saved this post, and I contacted the head of that office, and I expressed my concern about this because you're having HSUS, and it was also funded by a local state agency too, to have this lady go out to ranches in western South Dakota and actually feet on the ground, snooping around and looking at this. And we don't know what their intent is. And I know what the intent would be, but why would that? And then the very next day, of course, it was taken down because I expressed my concern on this. I'll send you the photo of it. And it's just concerning because you're right. There's scholarships, there's people doing this, and it worries me a little bit more than probably the average person.
Well, Scott, I'm going to tell you, we're our own worst enemy.
Yep.
You know, when I talk to a lot of hunters, predator hunters and trappers, and they talk about, the low fur prices, coyote prices are high, but well, one reason we're our own worst enemy is we're relying on China and Russia to buy our fur. Why doesn't everybody that hunts and traps wife have a fur coat?
Yep.
I mean, and then we also have people like Pink, this musician, and I can honestly say I've never heard one of her songs because I don't listen. I don't think they play it on KFYR, but I've never heard her. But several of my friends that do a lot of hunting, and then they're hardcore rodeo, they're hardcore houndsmen, they're hardcore deer hunters. Oh, what's going? Oh, my wife's going out of town. She's going to Fargo to a Pink concert.
Yeah.
Like when you support these people, you're defeating yourself.
Yep.
I mean, plain and simple. And I don't know why people can't see that.
It's hard to be married to people like you and I.
I'll tell you what, I think God handpicked our women, that's for sure.
Well, on a good note here, we got about 60 seconds here, Marty. On a good note, coon hunting, it must be going really well. You must have a ton of them down on the river bottoms, but we don't have a lot out here in the Badlands. we really don't. So I might need to come over and spend an evening with you and do some live radio reporting from the, I don't know, what do you call it, a John boat or whatever you call that.
Hey, oh, you will love it. And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you will have a great adventure.
The adventures never cease. Say, I want to do a prairie dog tournament this fall. You think that'll be creating a little stir?
Not as much as your commercial for the adopting a prairie dog, which I love.
Come on.
Which I love.
I'm just waiting for somebody to send me the $20. You know?
That is great. Well, I'm going to be sending you something. If you read your comments on live chat, you're going to be getting something off the air. You know, I'm going to, well, you might as well give your address on there so you can start getting these checks, but I'm going to send you something for your studio.
Okay. That sounds good. I appreciate that. Hey, Marty, thank you so much for making time coming on here and discussing not only politics, but coon hunting. It's good stuff. I appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate you. I tell you what, there's not a lot of guys fighting the fight as hard as you, and I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, man. Stay on the line here. I'll talk to you a little bit after we get done. Marty Beard, the only guy that's banned from Facebook for life here. So you can find him. You can't find him anywhere, but if you go out on the river bottoms, you might find him there. Hey, catch my daily program, Dakota Prairie Outdoors, on these great radio stations you're listening to right now. If you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube, subscribe to my channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Have a good weekend. All right, Facebook, YouTube, have yourself a great one. Share my address here. Try to get more subscribers on here. Thanks. And you can always check out my daily program, DakotaPrairieOutdoors.com. Have a good one. See ya.